Hey, my friend, it's Melanie Ferguson, your host of Creatives on Fire, the podcast where I hope to inspire you to create a profitable six-figure following online. So turn it up and listen in to amazing stories of success, along with behind-the-scenes secrets and valuable tips from, you guessed it, Creatives on Fire. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, we are going to have some fun. We are going to talk about what it's like to work with your spouse. So I have my spouse here and we're going to just chat. So Brett, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Y'all, we're just recording this here in our home office, which is actually doubles as our living room. So that's kind of one of the perks of working from home and working together is you pretty much work anywhere and everywhere. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree. I think the flexibility that we have is definitely a bonus for sure.
So I want to talk about, for the listeners, I feel like if you are wanting to work with your spouse, or a lot of people I've heard in the past have said that they want to bring their spouses home from corporate and they want to have them, be able to work with them or work from home with them. And so what is that like? I mean, I know that when we first ever started working, it's kind of hard for us to explain because we've always worked from home and always worked together. So it's kind of an anomaly because I don't think a lot of people have that. But
right. I wouldn't say always. It's really been over the last 22 or so years. There were years when I was at IBM and Icon and other places. So but it was definitely before the pandemic and when people started working from home all the time. So it was not a big jump when we had to work together.
So we've been working together for basically, like I said, forever.
Yeah, for sure.
25 years plus is a long time. And so, but at the beginning, I still remember we didn't have any roles. We didn't know what we were doing. And I think that your roles sort of evolve. Now, a lot of people say you need to have the same mindset. You need to both be working towards the same goal. But I have to argue that and just say that it's really, I feel like I'll answer, it's worked for us, to me, because we are so different. We are so opposite. And our roles have just evolved into what they are today because it's just been, each of us takes over that which we are best at.
Yeah, it's been a complementary situation where some of the things that you excel at and vice versa. There's a lot of things. So I think when we bounce ideas off of each other, when we help each other accomplish tasks, I think it's a good mix. And we do bounce ideas off each other quite a bit and discuss resolutions for things we're working on. And it seems to work really good.
And pretty much like if I say something, you just agree, right?
Oh, yeah. That's all I do. That's all I'm here for. I do play devil's advocate, not a whole lot, but when needed, it's good to have Melanie talk things out sometimes. She has a lot of things going on in her head at one time. And I think once she verbalizes things, she kind of sees where they may be needing to be tweaked a little bit or maybe not. But it's always good just to communicate for sure with each other.
And that just stole my next topic. I was going to talk about how you're such a good listener. So it's really nice if one of the parties is a good listener, because I'm telling you that that is one of my best things that I get from us working together is just the built-in accountability and someone who can, again, like you said, bounce my ideas off with, or just kind of ask questions to and get your take on it and know that your take is going to be just as valuable as what I would think too. I mean,
right. Well, and I think that boils down to that we know what our goals are. We know what our ambitions are. We know where we want to be. We meet and talk about weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly goals, 5 years down the road. Where do we want to be? So it helps that we're both on the same page. We're both focused on the same target, and we just work together to get there.
So let's talk about the tough stuff. So fighting, arguments, and how we have set up natural boundaries that, we respect of each other's, like we have different parts of the house that we will go to if we want to be alone. And
I think that's a misconception a lot of people have, is when you work with someone that you're just around them constantly and nonstop. And it's just not that way. Melanie has her area in the house that she works in. I have
my crafting garage
and office area. And I have my space, and we just know a lot of times during the day who's going to be where. And if we need to reach each other, we can knock on the wall or text or whatever to communicate and get together.
We do text from room to room. That is hilarious. So if I need something and we live in a ranch home. I should have started with that, but it's like,
it's long and narrow.
It's long and narrow. And so it's a long walk from one end to the other. So if I need to reach out to him, it's actually just as easy to text and figure out where he is in the house so that we can communicate that way. But yeah, and a lot of times you end up leaving during the day, or I leave and we go, and that kind of breaks things up too.
Well, sure. Every day we do have different lists of things we need to get done. And the good thing about working together as well is maybe you need to stay here and focus on your website, or maybe getting together your list of people that you're going to meet with next, or whatever you have going on. And I have things that I need to do on my end, even if it's going to get stuff for the house, or going to just run general errands. It's not always work 24/7. It's when you team up, it's good that you get to, share the other things in life that need to be done.
And so more on a tactical basis, when we work together, before I go, so say live on my Facebook page or something like that, what is something that we've kind of worked out that you do?
As far as before you go on your just getting everything ready, turning on lights, prepping the computer, making sure it's on the right website, making sure that the microphone works, just kind of behind the scenes stuff, just making sure that when you do go live, as long as our internet connection works, which has been spotty at best here lately, with that working, that everything else is in order, and that no surprises pop up on your end when you're live. Try to make it as smooth and streamless as possible.
And, sometimes you didn't know you needed help like that, but oh my goodness, you guys, when you're going live and maybe you do it every day, or myself, like a couple times a day, then it becomes a lot, and you really need that second pair of eyes, hey, did you get, and when you're streaming in multiple places too, because I stream sometimes on 4 places at a time, and I need all those devices charged. I mean, it keeps me in charges all the time. And
yes, we have a lot of portable chargers going around this house at any one time. They're on all the desks, outside, everywhere. It's good to keep all those going.
So, and that's just not something that I'm good at. It's called details. And a lot of times creatives are better at the bigger picture. And we don't have a lot of patience, or we don't excel in details. And I know that before I go live, sometimes I'll leave the crafting garage 5 times because I forgot something, or I needed something that I didn't get beforehand, because it's just a detail, and it's just a detail. And that is kind of sometimes where Brett picks up the pieces, is he fills in the gaps where I'm hugely lacking.
Well, it's just kind of one of those opposite type deals where you might lack or overlook some details. That's right in my wheelhouse. That's what I do. I like to be punctual. I like to be specific, and I like to make sure everything's organized in order. So with those things, we really work together well. And
let me ask you,
please.
Okay, when I was just getting started in the online space, before it was making any money, what did you think of everything? And at what point did you feel like you actually noticed, hey, this could be a real thing? We should make this a go together.
Well, I think like anything new, and it can be scary at first. You really don't know. There's no real track record of what you're going to make monetarily, how things are going to roll, how much time it's going to take. It's just all the unknowns. And in the beginning, I was, I wouldn't say skeptical that it would work. I know that most everything you do, you succeed at. It's
come now.
It's true. But, as time went on and I saw that you were as into it as you were and just committed to making this work and committed to engaging your audience and communicating with them, I just started.
And
to
the
get
audience grew.
The audience grew, the numbers grew, the page views grew, everything started growing. I started being like, okay, well, this looks like it is definitely going to take off, and I would say that it did.
And so when we first started this social media / online business, it was before the pandemic, and we have 20 something years real estate before that. So surprisingly, I don't know about you, but to me, in 3 short years, this online business has completely taken, not the place of the real estate business, but it could take the place of the real estate business. It's made
Absolutely.
it very nice. And I would encourage anyone who's listening who is thinking about doing an online business that this has been a really, really, it has weathered the storm. It has been something that we have been able to do together. And, it's putting kids through college. It's doing all of these things that normally we would have to be going out and doing a 9 to 5 or at real estate working crazy pants hours with tons of clients. And now we get to be picky about the real estate clients that we work with, and we get to really call our own hours. So what does a day in the life of our business look like?
Well, it looks like planning the day before about what you're going to do, having that stuff ready to go so there's no surprises, getting everything set up. And every day is different. I mean, some days you go live, some days you don't. Some days you focus on your projects. Some days we're purchasing items and materials for the projects. Every day is different, but we try to, I think the biggest thing to do is to calendar, to plan, to get everything written down so nothing surprises you, nothing jumps up. They will, but at least as long as part of your day is scheduled and secure, I think it's good to do. But the days are different, and it's fine because once again, we've got flexibility. So anything that pops up, we're able to tackle.
And I love that. I do plan everything in advance. I try to plan out loosely the year and more firmly the quarter, and then definitely the month, the week, and the day before each day, so that I don't know for sure if I'm going to go live. Like today, our internet was really bad. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go live, but I definitely knew, what I needed to be working on and what I needed Brett's help with. And then he knew what it was. He actually had a real estate client today. So you were actually doing a couple different, like wearing a couple different hats. And then, like you were talking about the flexibility, we sometimes travel for this, and sometimes we go shopping and we go live when we're shopping, and you're always so good to take me.
Run interference in the aisles so people aren't creeping up behind you and staring at what you're doing. And no, I enjoy it. I enjoy getting outside of the house and going out and looking at all the stuff that seeing everything you do. I mean, I enjoy it.
So let's see. Would we recommend working with your spouse to anyone else?
I would. It's definitely not for everybody, but I think it's 100% for us. I think our personalities match up well for being together. I know a lot of times I'll go with golf buddies and other people and talk about, work and working together, and their jaws just drop. How do you do it? How could you? Oh gosh, no, never, never, never. And that's fine. I get it. It's not for everybody, but it's worked really well for us, and we've been doing it for a long time. So very, very happy about where we're at right now.
Me too. And we do fight. We do argue. We do disagree. But
it just makes us both stronger. And it's mainly ideas more than anything. And I wouldn't say it's fighting as much as just disagree or just have different ideas. But once we bounce them off each other and talk it out, I see your pros and cons, you see mine. And it seems to always come to somewhere in the middle.
It does. It does. So listen, guys, if you have ever thought about having an online business, number one, we both agree that you should do that.
Certainly.
I mean, things change, times change, jobs change, situations change. And the only thing that well, we're big proponents of entrepreneurialism. So the only thing you can have a little more grasp on is your own business, and having it online is just the cherry on top. So, and then as far as working with a spouse, I know the pandemic sent a lot of spouses home, and a lot of people were forced to work with each other. And like we said, I think it doesn't work for everybody, because if the personalities are way too strong and there's no give and take, and it's all just take, then that can be a negative. But yeah, for us and our situation, it's been nothing but short of amazing. And I'm super, super glad that we are blessed to have this situation.
I agree. It is a blessing.
Well, all right, guys, that's all I have for y'all this week. I hope you got something from it. And until next time, stay inspired. Thank you so much, my friend, for listening to the podcast. I'm blessed every single time you come back and listen to an episode. It's especially amazing when you share it with others on social media. So be sure to follow Creatives on Fire online. Listen, if you have not already done so, I want you to go ahead and download the 5 ideas I personally used to explode my online audience growth to a 6-figure following. You can find that at creativesonfirepodcast.com. I appreciate you, and until next time, stay inspired.